Hi, and welcome to Screens in Focus podcast, where we share and connect as we spotlight our favorite shows and movies. I'm Diana, and today we're talking about The Walking Dead Season 11, Episode 13, along with our recommendations on Phoenix Rising, We Crashed, 355, and more. Hi, Margaret. How are you today?
Hey. I'm good. I'm so glad it is sunny outside. Finally.
Oh, good. It's sunny here, too.
It's always sunny in California. Oh, my God.
So I wanted to ask you a question.
What?
We've seen a lot of new characters come on to The Walking Dead.
Yes.
From Terminator and, other movies and shows. So I wondered what character from another franchise or TV or movie would you like to see on The Walking Dead?
Well, I don't have a specific character, but I really, really enjoy Awkwafina. So I would love to see her on The Walking Dead in some capacity. Because I think she'd be a kick.
You're so good.
She's good, isn't she? She's so versatile.
I love that.
Yeah? Who would you choose? Are you like a Marvel?
Okay. So my first thought went to Marvel, but I'm like, that's kind of cheating, right? Because they all have superpowers. I thought of like Thor and that is related to a movie I saw, which I'll talk about at the very end here, but when we give our recommendations. Mm-hmm. But I thought, no. What person, like what kind of a character who was a regular human being with no superpowers? And it was hard. It was hard because there's so many great movies out there. And I was trying to think of, Westerns and then Viking days, and I thought of, Game of Thrones, and I thought of 300, and, all these things came into mind. I'm like, no, what about a woman warrior, some kind of a woman warrior? And it's funny, I thought of the bride from Kill Bill.
I never saw Kill Bill.
Well, I was just because she has the sword and she's chopping everybody up, and I thought she would be good. But I also thought of Sigourney Weaver, Ripley in Aliens.
Yeah, no, she would be good too. What about Linda Hamilton? I really like her.
I thought of her too. And so I think that would be good, especially because they keep picking people from Terminator, right? I love it. Our minds could go so many places with this. I can't wait. Hopefully they'll keep bringing them for the rest of the season. We'll see.
Aren't they finished with the season? I mean, haven't they taped everything? So they've shot everything.
But I didn't know Michael Biehn was going to be on this one.
He looked nothing like he did in Terminator. I mean, I was like, I know him, but I don't know him. He just...
Right. I thought the same thing.
It was hard to tell it was him. His voice wasn't even the same.
Yeah.
So...
No, it wasn't.
But...
Okay. Friends out there, let us know what you think. What character from another franchise or TV movie would you like to see on The Walking Dead? We want to know. Leave us a comment on social media, our website, or email at screensinfocus@gmail.com. I would love to know.
Me too.
We would love to hear from you.
Yeah.
The links are in the show notes. All right. So episode 13, Warlords. Michael Biehn, as we already discussed, love the actors coming from Terminator franchise. So in this episode, some really big things happen. And Maggie seems to be losing more of her community. And Aaron and Father Gabriel go on an outreach run as we meet a new community. And Negan reappears. So let's dig in. Margaret, what did you think of this episode?
I thought it was a great episode. I loved it. I loved that they covered all the characters. They revealed so much more about how the Commonwealth operates under Pink Suit Guy. What's his name?
Lance Hornsby.
Yeah, Lance. I thought it opened brilliantly with the arrow through the air and into the guy. I thought that was so cool.
I loved it.
I know. And then the guy coming in on the horse, these are all guys because we don't know their names. And then even I, into the episode, would not know the name. But regardless, it was fascinating to me because they went back to how they used to do it, because they used to start with the end. You know, they used to show the ending and then they would jump into the episode. So the beginning was the end, and then you were building it all through the episode. So that's how that's what I remember them doing. So I really like that format. And I'm so glad that they went back to it. But I was amazed at all of the little intricacies and how everything was woven together and all the revealing aspects of the Commonwealth and Lance and the CIA guy. I mean, he was new, and he was, you know, the pivotal thing to me about it, which I'm kind of jumping ahead of our conversation, but they're still all playing roles, and they all refer to them as roles. So everybody knows they're just kind of putting up this front. So what's really going on is the question. I mean, we know that they're marauders, that they want to take over everything and kill everybody. And our group is just they want to believe that they're good. You know, some of those people, they're just so stupidly strung along because they really want to believe, because they're so wiped out and spent and emotionally just taxed. They just want something to be good for once in their lives. So they latch on to this, and then they realize, reality sucks.
Yeah, right.
So I thought it was it set up a lot of different potential, I guess, encounters and storylines and the interconnections of everybody on the show. I thought it was really, really kind of cool. The only one we didn't see really was Daryl, and you would have thought maybe we'd see Daryl as one of the stormtrooper guys, but he wasn't in that pack. So, and neither was Mercer. Yeah. So he wasn't in there either. So it would have been, you know, what would have been really interesting would be to have those two, or Mercer and his group, in with those other people to see how they would have reacted to what was actually going to be happening, which was pre-planned by the CIA guy, hence Lance. Lance putting all this stuff in motion. And then just kind of bringing it, you know, tricking everybody in to, you know, be the delegates, so to speak, or the ambassadors of goodwill, unknowingly, you know, falling into this situation that was already predetermined, right?
But I think this information is going to be withheld from Daryl and Mercer, right? Because they would, especially Daryl, would flip on knowing this, right? Because he'd be like, Mercer. What the hell? So, yes. And so would probably Mercer. He would probably react sooner than later because, you know, we've talked about how we think he's going to come to this side.
Deviate.
And align. Yeah. So,
it just would have set that up faster. I mean, what it would have done was it would have driven a wedge between all of that group in power, Lance and his little, whatever you want to call them, the people who follow him, and then the rest of the community who think Lance is this great guy and Pamela's this great woman, and, you know, that they have a whole different mission. But their mission is becoming very clear, at least Lance's is. And I think Pamela is right along there with him, even though she plays like she's not.
Well, I think he's still hiding a lot of stuff from her.
Oh.
You know, he said, or he sent out a mission, but he took, what did he say exactly? When he took those guns, and there was something that they had in this wagon that they haven't divulged what it is yet, but it was supposed to go somewhere, but he took it and used it for his own agenda that she's not aware of. And that's why he sent Toby, the CIA guy. Yes, he told him he doesn't want Pamela to find out. That's the whole thing, because she'll notice that things are missing. And so he wants to send the CIA guy in to go handle everything so that he doesn't get found out. Yeah.
With the disposable people. Right. Yes. But don't you think that kind of points to the direction that he has got his own little group uprising thing planned?
Well, yeah, I don't know.
But we just haven't met them yet. We haven't met them yet.
Right. Or everybody, or who's involved, or exactly.
Well, I don't think any of the main Walking Dead characters are involved in that. I think they're just being strung along. And
of course. I agree. Yeah, I love this episode so much too. I was really excited watching it. I I loved it because I didn't know what was going to happen next. And I was like making noises like, I was so excited. And so it was really good. And, it started off after they showed Hilltop. They came to the Commonwealth and we saw Father Gabriel giving a sermon. Yeah. And I just felt, oh man, he was in his element and he looked good. Like he looked really good. Like he just shaved. He looked all in shape. He looked all clean. All the parishioners looked clean. Even Aaron, I noticed how bright Aaron's pants were. I'm like, what are you doing wearing such light colored pants in an apocalypse? Where'd you get those? And I did notice it. I'm like, geez, these people are dressed just like any other day. And inside that church of theirs, you would have never known there was an apocalyptic world outside of this because it just looked like a regular scene from a regular movie or a regular show or a regular life. So, but, we see Aaron talk with Father Gabriel and say, you look really happy. And Father Gabriel says, I heard him again. He's talking to me again. And I felt really happy for him. And by the end of it, we were really sad for him, really sad for Father Gabriel, because everything that he had in that moment, he can't have that in that way again, right? Because he's not going to return to the Commonwealth. He's not going to have that again.
How do you know he's not going to go back?
I don't think so. I don't think he's going back to the Commonwealth. Not after they tried to shoot him. No, I don't. Or shoot Aaron.
I mean, it was just that group. It wasn't the Commonwealth. It's this fraction.
But that group will still try to kill them, I believe. So that's what I think, because they don't want them to spill the beans on what's happening. I felt sad for Father Gabriel because it's like finally when you get something, just like Eugene. Eugene finally got what he thought he wanted, and then he lost it. And I feel the same thing is happening with Father Gabriel. He's getting something and now he's lost it. That's how I felt during this. Now, whether he gets it back, that would be great if he does. And maybe he'll get it in a different way. But I don't know if he'll get it back the way he had it here, or maybe it'll be a different avenue there. Hopefully. I hope so. But I just felt deflated in a way for him because I thought, oh, he was finally happy. And now it's changed.
Well, it's moment to moment.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And then with Aaron.
He is so naive.
Well, I guess. But this Toby guy was so good at what he does. I mean, I thought this Toby guy was this inept, high energy person, and then all of a sudden he's this assassin, and I was fooled, and so I guess Aaron was too, and so was Father Gabriel. They all were.
Totally. Well, he's a good actor. He played the roles.
Yes.
But so why do you think they took that kid? Why he handpicked that kid, right, to go with them? Why would he take some kid who is completely naive? I mean, what do you think the purpose of that was?
I don't know the purpose of that, but all I can think is that maybe Toby didn't think it would go that way. Maybe he thought it was just another run because they have been on other runs previously together. Of course, he knew he might have to kill this guy, though. I don't know. I don't know why he took him.
I don't know. I think the plan was to go in and kill all those people.
No, you're right.
That's where they thought that all the stash, weapons or cache of weapons, and then whatever else was in the transport was. And he didn't believe anybody. But I think his character he's psycho. I mean, a sociopath. I mean, it kind of has to be able to kill people like that, even though they're telling you the truth. And, they're like, whatever.
You can tell they're telling the truth. He didn't care. He did not care.
Nope.
If they had him, they would have said it at some point. They would have,
Yeah, I know. And if they had him, why wouldn't they have just picked everybody off before they even got there? So
what's funny too is it made me wonder, why did Lance set up the CIA guy too? Because he said, oh, the tracks led up to these people. Well, did it really? And or did someone take it, those, the guns and whatever it is, before it got to these people? I think the guy said, I think Ian, the Michael Biehn character, said that they found
the tricks or something.
Yeah, after things had been taken already. So
right.
That's why probably their tracks were there. So maybe Lance was giving what he thought was the right information.
He just wanted them off the planet. Because, okay, so my first impression of that place is like New York City ghetto, because it's a high rise. Everybody, they all look like they're either drug addicts, drug dealers, ex-cons. They all look like they're rough and tumble people just because of the way they're dressed and the tattoos and just the whole mannerisms and the gruffness, and just they're not smiling, saying, "Hey, how you doing? Welcome to our abode." They're out there making them lose their weapons and then putting the fear of God in them, because then they're searching them on top of that and then taking them in and locking them in. So the whole thing to me, it seemed like a prison almost that they were going into, and then they're all being locked in there, and they didn't know what was going to happen. And then with all those heads on the wall, I mean, that was a scare tactic as well, because you have to show that you're in power. You have the means to do this to somebody if you need to. And it's really interesting. The whole, well, why would I tell you where I am? Or you know where I am. Why won't you tell me where you are? What are you afraid of? Right? And they were there to kill these people because they were afraid. This was my thought process, that they, regardless of whether they took the weapons or not, Lance sent them on a mission to annihilate all the people in there because they're afraid of them the element coming into the Commonwealth or invading or taking or seizing, breaking in, and then, wreaking havoc. So I think it was a spot check / annihilation. And there was I don't even know if there were weapons, right? He just wanted to get rid of these. He just wanted to get rid of these people because they were a risk, period. Yeah. That's what I really thought.
Man. And he was about to shoot Aaron point blank. Like if that had a bullet in it, Aaron would be dead. And Aaron just looked at him like, okay, this is it, right?
Yeah.
And oh my God. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe you almost shot Aaron. That was just killing me.
Does he have a spinoff too? That's the way to tell if he's going to live.
Okay, let's talk about Maggie and Lydia. I thought that the talk that they had in the truck felt very real, very authentic. I liked hearing Maggie's story and what Lydia had to say and Elijah had to say. Although I thought, Elijah has this thing for Lydia, though. Of course he's going to side with her.
Yeah.
And I found it interesting because I felt like Maggie was the mom talking to her teenage daughter. I mean, I really got that vibe, even though Maggie isn't that old, but it still felt that way to me. And I just really appreciated Maggie trying to convey this wisdom and what she's learned along the way and try to tell Lydia, why she doesn't trust the Commonwealth but Lydia's like, I'm tired of living like this. I mean, gosh, her mom was alpha, so she lived a really rough life. So it's not like Lydia doesn't know the world out there, right? It's not like she's been sheltered at all. She gets it. And so now she just, she wants it to be stable. She wants to have a stable life. And so and then her eyes were all welled up with tears. And then Maggie's eyes were welled up with tears because Maggie thought, oh my gosh, I think she was assessing, am I making the right decision? I think I am. And that's when she asked Elijah, what do you think about this? And I just liked that whole scene. I thought it was really well done between those two. Yeah. What'd you think of that?
I felt the same. I mean, because I felt like Lydia I never really liked Lydia. Now that she's older, I'm beginning to appreciate her more. It might have just been the way that they had her play her character early on, but I just thought, what a dumb girl she is, and so loyal to somebody who's just so corrupt and so vicious and mean and evil, her mother. So, and then she latched on to Negan. So, I mean, it was goes from bad to worse to, you just don't know where this girl's going to end up. But I thought it was a really nice connection that they had, and that she by becoming so emotional and vulnerable, she was showing Maggie, what it's really like for just the common regular person going through all this stuff. Because Maggie has become this hardened individual, and most of that probably is because of, what Negan had done to the group way back when. Because she didn't used to be like that. She was this sweet, helpful, and then she just suddenly turned, and you kind of have to like move on from stuff like that, or it's going to drag you down. So maybe she's learning from Lydia, who came from a worse place than Maggie had ever seen.
Yes.
That you can flip it and try to find good and stability. So I liked it because it was a good emotional connection between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was purposeful. It wasn't just like,
I know. I did. I really,
so.
Yeah, I really liked it. And I like that it showed where Maggie's head was at. I like that she gave an example of why she felt she was making the right decision about talking about Herschel and the farm and those developers who came and tried to take it over.
Yeah, but
I know, but it's still something you learn, right? Something you've learned, and you're, and I am still on the Maggie bandwagon here because I really think the Commonwealth are corrupt, bad. There's just something about, and I know it's not all of them. I realize it's not all of them. And I realize you can have all this other stuff, but you're going to sell something out. You're going to lose something by going there. Now, it depends on everybody should have their own say if that's what they want to do. But I also think they're going in a little bit blind because they think one thing, and who's to say what you're really, what you really have to give up there. I don't know yet.
But they don't, but see, they sell it. Sunshine and puppies. They don't tell you what really is happening until you're in there. Then you experience it firsthand. And then you're already in there and they've already mind messed you. Yeah. So, and it's easier. I mean, they're in a bubble. That's what I was thinking. This 10-year bubble. So that's what they said. They've been like this for 10 years, right? Or this has been established for 10 years.
Exactly.
So, that was the other thing that I thought was kind of fascinating, was because these people, that's why these guys, you can't train them to be the stormtrooper guys, because they're soft. They haven't experienced anything difficult or harsh other than maybe somebody wandering in, dead body guy or woman wandering in, a walker, and then they kill them, but they don't even see that. So it's like sending these children off to war, 18-year-olds who've never seen anything, and then boom, their buddy next to them gets blown up or shot up, and then they come back warped, So it's really, it's a huge commentary on everything that's been going on in real life, I think, this whole story.
Well, this is how I felt. I thought every time we see a community build up and it's big enough, there's always something wrong with it. And then it makes you wonder, do we really want to build up and be a part of that? Or do you want to be, it's so hard. It's such a struggle in this world, in this apocalyptic world, in our world too. But it just, although I'm not in it, and if I'm starving and I'm having to fight off walkers every day, I'd probably be able to take you to the Commonwealth. But
I know.
Yeah, it depends on what you're willing to sacrifice for, the safety. And what did Lydia say, that she doesn't want change? She just wants to be stable, like everyday life.
Now, what did I say last week? Just as a rule, change is bad. To sum up the whole, what did I learn from the episode? Yeah. But the other thing, though, is that we don't know is what Maggie endured and went through while she was not anywhere, because she's not talked of that at all. So I think it would have been better for her to reference some experience that she'd had, which was on a parallel to their situation
now. Living now.
Instead of, the people wanted to come and buy our land, and they kept adding, more and more, and we knew we'd get out of it. And it just was so not even on the same apples and oranges.
Right.
Didn't even work. Didn't fit. Lydia doesn't give a shit. She's never grown up on a farm. It just was not, it was not a good example. So
I hear you. Do you have any other thoughts or tidbits?
What I found really kind of interesting is that this Toby guy, the CIA guy, really sold himself as this, I need help, we need help. And I found it fascinating that the two, Aaron and Gabriel, were just a little hesitant. I mean, Aaron, no. Gabriel, yes. Hesitant to go and follow through with this whole, let's meet the guys in this, 7-story brick building with people in the windows with guns and, hatchets and the whole deal. And you want us to what? And then they have the whole armed Navy force, not Navy, but the whole army behind them and, ready to, why are they there? Why do they have so many people there? And what is this little kid coming along? I mean, I just thought that they didn't put their thinking caps on completely. I mean, Aaron especially. I don't know what his deal is, but he's just too dumb for dumb, I mean, he's so gullible. No, he's just the character. He's been through so much, lost his arm, got this big old whatever, I mean, and he's a tough guy, but I think he's struggling between being an authority type figure and towing the line and doing, what he thinks is right or what he knows is staring him in the face. And Gabriel's a better judge of character because of just his reaction and his ability to be emotionally prepared for what was going to happen. Because Aaron, hey, let me show you some pictures. Flip. This is where we live. Like, who the what? And that was kind of goofy.
But he did talk down Ian from shooting.
Well, yes, because he's CIA a good negotiator. Guy. He's a great negotiator, but he did not, he didn't, if he even had any tickle in his gut, about the CIA guy.
Well, yeah, no one did. Yeah. Well, neither did the Ian guy.
No, but I think that Gabriel, I think he kind of knew what was going on. I mean, I think he anticipated it better than Aaron. So not that he was given the lines or everything else, but I mean, he just seemed to be a little more on the ball than buying it hook, line, and sinker like Aaron. So. Well,
I also think because Aaron had been on the road with this guy already, so I think he probably felt like he kind of knew him a little bit. Where Father Gabriel didn't know him at all, and so he was sizing him up right then. He's all, yeah, I don't know about you.
Oh, but I did, my other little tidbit, I loved how at the end, everybody merged. I thought that was great. Negan and Maggie and all the other people who they all were on the same path to follow, because of what Negan did with the kid and the map.
Yeah.
Even though kid never said, tell Maggie, because he died before he was able to say anything. Because I rewatched the beginning just to see if that was actually what happened. And it wasn't what happened, but they knew that it was somebody who they just knew and they trusted that it was a good thing, not a bad thing. So,
and I was curious about that group that was with Negan, that whole group. Were they all a part of that community?
And so is he.
But I know, I realized that, but then they seem so different than, I felt like they were a group that had come there maybe together because they felt different than the group that we saw at the door.
Oh,
they just felt like a different group. They felt a little more, and I don't even remember, but my vibe would be more gypsy-ish.
Yeah,
and I'll be interested to see what happens with them.
Well, but you don't know. I mean, it could all just be a front, a tough guy. But are you really a tough guy? The people at the door have to be the tough guys, but the people inside can be not so tough. Who they are.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. We didn't see that girl again. And I found her so I liked the look. I'm like, oh, I like you, but I'm afraid of you. I don't know.
That's the point, right?
and I liked that, right? But we didn't see her later on. So I wonder if she survives or if she doesn't. We'll see.
They're not done, right? They have to continue.
They're not. So. Yes. And I just wanted to mention that Jason Butler Harner played Toby. So, because he was really good. He was really good in that role.
I've never seen that guy in anything. Have you?
I have seen him, yes. I think he's in Ozark, but I'm not sure what else.
Maybe.
Yeah. All right. We are at our segment and the award goes to. And so my favorite quote, character, or moment in this episode, and that's Negan. We get to see him reinvent himself. And he seems to really be bonding with this new woman. I don't know how long it's been, but I like her. That I wonder how he met her on the road. I don't know if we'll ever find that out. And I love that he helps Father Gabriel and then tells that, I think it was Jesse, who's the writer, to get this information to Maggie, and that Aaron and Gabriel are in trouble. Yeah. And I don't know why, I just found it so interesting that he said her name, Maggie. I don't know. There's just something like he knew she would come. I just feel the start of that new show, Isle of the Dead. Mm-hmm. So I just like it. I love it. I love it. I love it. What did you think? Who's your favorite?
I, as you did, liked that also. I thought that was very revealing for him to say that. And I'd said, I don't think she's going to kill him, and I don't think he's going to kill her. Not just because of the spinoff, but because of everything that has happened. And, I think she totally identified with him a couple episodes back with what he had to go through and why he hit rock bottom emotionally, mentally, morally, ethically, because she did too. Because I think she's still learning. I think she's finally identified that she is just as bad as he could be, and the power goes to your head. So by her listening to Lydia earlier shows that she's a woman, and we have a tendency to consider may not be how we go, but at least we listen to what people have to say. Yeah. And if it's plausible or valuable or like a causative sort of thing that's going to impact an outcome, then I think we could be swayed. I think it's just, she's the female Negan and he's just Negan. He's never going to be Maggie, but he's turning into Maggie because he's becoming more sensitive and more concerned and revealing a little bit more about his past. He lost his family and his wife, and what did he used to do? What was his occupation? It was like
wasn't he a gym teacher?
Yeah. I thought so. A teacher of some kind. Yeah. And so, it's just, I don't know. It's kind of interesting because some people are reverting. I think they're trying to get back to where they were, go full circle, emotionally. Mm-hmm. So I thought I really liked that scene. I just liked the whole thing where everybody just kind of converged on the building and then they're going to clean house, man. I think it's going to be great.
I think it's going to be great too, which kind of leads us into our next, question, which is, tell me one thing you learned in this episode and what are you looking forward to in The Walking Dead?
Well, I want to know. So the big question is, where are the guns? I mean, who took the guns, if there actually were guns or supplies or whatever, was the reason for them going in there in the first place. And then also, the thing that really rang true was that they're even though they're all separated, they're still very bonded. They're still much a family. They all care about each other, regardless of their politics, regardless of the stupid things that they decide to do or the smart things that they decide to do. And they still have a lot of respect for each other and they really love each other. So I thought that was really kind of unique,
I love that. That's so true. That's why I love The Walking Dead. So the thing that I learned through this specific episode, was live in the moment because things can turn on a dime, which is what we had talked about with Father Gabriel here. And I can't wait to see how things pan out with Negan and what will happen with the rest of the group. Yeah. Now that Toby and the Commonwealth have tried to kill Aaron and Father Gabriel, and now that the Commonwealth knows where all the communities are at. So it just makes me wonder how, what's going to happen. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited for the next episode.
I have a prediction. I think that they're going to wipe out all of those stormtrooper guys. And then CIA guy Toby, or whatever his character name is, he's going to end up going back. And Lance is going to blame him for everything. And he's going to be the scapegoat. Just like, classic CIA. Oh, the CIA did it, And then that'll be that. They'll get rid of him and then it'll be happily ever after because nobody will be the wiser. I mean, it's the same thing. He sets everybody up to take the fall for his shenanigans. And he puts them out there to test the waters, completely insulating himself because he uses these people who nobody really knows that well. So that's why he's using the warriors, which are our people, the Walking Dead people, the original cast, and throwing them in all these situations just to see how it's like a science project. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm excited to see that one. We only have a few more episodes in this part 2. All right. That wraps up our conversation on The Walking Dead. Margaret, I would like to know, what else are you currently watching?
I saw the previews on Apple TV Plus for We Crashed. It's Jared Leto, who I love. He's an incredible actor. And then Anne Hathaway, who can hold her own. I mean, she's pretty good.
I like her.
Depending upon the role. And it's not a biopic, but it's about a real story that actually happened. And it's based on a podcast, believe it or not, that was done. And it's about, if you ever listen to the news and what the new things that were coming into development, like 60 Minutes, I love 60 Minutes. And I think they did a story, or CBS This Morning did a story about how what's happening for all these little entrepreneurs is they're renting space, turning it into office space. So it's sort of a communal workspace. So you don't have to rent your own office space. You're all sharing the resources and all this other stuff. So this movie basically is about that guy, or TV show is about that guy. And it shows him, and he's originally Israeli. So he's not from this country, but he came over to study. And I think he gets sidetracked because he's Mr. I got this great idea. He just starts all these startups and comes up with he's trying to be an inventor. And he comes up with this idea kind of by way of having communal living space, kind of like a dormitory space, but then he flipped it into workspace. So it's selling the idea to the New Yorkers, and his relationship with Anne Hathaway and how that develops, and they end up getting married. So they only release 3 episodes at a time. So I'm at 3, so I don't know. It just was released, I think, on Friday, and I watched it on Saturday, and it was interesting. He's a very, just a crazy kind of guy. He makes something out of absolutely nothing. It's fascinating, but the podcast is called Wondery. So, and then for movies, 355, I saw the previews for, and I thought it looked really, really good. And I rented it from Redbox, and it's about the story starts out with a chip, or an algorithm, really, which is in the way of a chip or a plug-in for a computer. And what it does is it almost acts like an atomic bomb, so it can turn off your electricity. You can just disable everything electronic, or every signal, whatever. So it turns off the Wi-Fi, it turns off the cell phone, it can take down an airplane because it takes out the guidance. So, of course, it's trying to be sold on the black market. And the opening scene is the kid who came up with this, crazy algorithm. And then because he gets killed because somebody's trying to steal it, because it would mean they control the world if they have the thing. So it's this chase after this chip, and it goes from hand to hand to hand, ends up in an auction. And it's all the female spy super agents who come together as a force to try to get it back or retrieve it, even though each was trying to find it for their own country. And because of circumstance, they all got together to do it together as the foursome. And then it became 5 with the auctioneer lady. They're pretty ruthless. The people are trying to get it back from whoever has it. So it's just, I thought it was pretty good. It's, and I think it might have gotten panned just because it's women doing all this male macho stuff. Because if guys were doing it, it wouldn't be a big deal. But it's these women who are tough little ladies, and I just thought it was interesting. But it's called the 355 because back during the American Revolution, the female spies were called 355. So that's where that comes from.
Isn't it just Jessica Chastain in this movie?
Yeah. Actually, Daryl's wife. Daryl,
Oh, Diane Kruger.
She's the blonde. She's been in quite a few really cool series too. That are like on Netflix. But so I like her. I think she's really good. But she plays the German. So, but she's one of them. And then there's an Asian lady who's the auctioneer lady. And then there's an African-American lady who's British. And then Penelope Cruz, she's in it. Yeah, but she's not a spy. She's a psychotherapist. So,
okay.
But anyway, so that's what I saw over the weekend. What are you watching on TV? Are you watching anything or?
I watch all my shows. I continue with them, but I just started Temptation Island.
Oh my God.
I can't help it. I don't know what it is. I think it's because I've watched like 4 seasons already. I don't know if this is the 5th season. I don't know, because there was a reboot. It played back in the however many years ago, and then it restarted like a year ago or something. And so I don't know why I get attached to these things about couples that are together and they're questioning if they should continue or not. And they go to Temptation Island, and all there's the 4 couples, and the 4 men go with all these women, and these 4 women go with all these men. And of course they get tempted, right? And it ends up that you see there's a bonfire, and at the bonfire, they show the women like 30 seconds of their man, maybe with another woman, maybe when they're sleeping or supposed to be sleeping. I don't know. And the same thing happens on the bonfire at the men's place. So they see terrible things. I don't know why any couple would put themselves through this, but guess
for
who's
their
watching
SAG card.
Guess who's watching it? And then at the end, they reunite, and they decide if they're leaving together. They can leave together, leave with somebody else, or leave alone. So,
wow.
But yes, wow. I'm watching it again. But okay, on a more serious note, as far as movies, I did watch Phoenix Rising on HBO Max. It's a documentary. It's actress and activist Evan Rachel Wood takes her experience as a survivor of domestic violence to pursue justice, heal generational wounds, and reclaim her story. And I took that snippet, I read it, and I thought it was perfect, so I just had to read that. But, it's very emotional watching this. It could be a trigger for some people. She really talks about what she has endured and talks about her family. And I just really felt for her in this. I really felt for her a lot. And I really liked her from a young age. I saw her in 13, but I also saw her in a TV show. And right now it escapes me, the TV show. But I really liked her character. I thought she was a great actress when she was 13, 14 years old. And so it's heartbreaking watching it, but I feel like it's really worth watching. So it's really well done. And you see it told from her, like she does all the talking. It's not like someone asking her questions or someone interviewing her. No, she's leading everything and bringing you on her journey. So I really liked it. It's a 2-parter. It's a 2-parter.
So like an hour or 2 hours?
I think they were one of them, like 2 hours. I think it was an hour apiece, approximately. I also saw Mortal on Prime. This is a 2020 fantasy adventure. It's a Norwegian movie. Basically, an origin story about a young man who has mythological powers and a psychologist who tries to help him. What's interesting, it has Thor remnants in here, which is what I had talked about at the beginning. I thought about Thor coming on The Walking Dead, but I really wasn't sure how well I liked this movie. But yeah, the husband really liked it. I was surprised. It was different.
Was it subtitled?
No, it wasn't. But what was interesting was it starts off showing this guy having these powers, and what it is like everything he touches burns. And if he's affected by emotions, so something upsets him, makes him anxious, makes him mad, he can burn things, and he can burn like trees. He can cause lightning. He can cause all sorts of things.
So it's not really original. Yeah, I mean Stephen King, right?
It is kind of like Firestarter, but then it goes into, I don't want to give it all away, but it does lend itself to Thor also. Okay. It just does. Okay. And, but she's the psychologist, begins like a relationship, cares for him and then tries to help him. And you see their journey. So it's different. Huh. Let me say that. Mm-hmm. And so, it's a movie to watch. All right, Margaret. Thank you for your recommendations and your insights on The Walking Dead. I can't wait for next week for us to do this all over again.
I know, it'll be fun. You're welcome.
All right. That's our show. Thanks for tuning in. We are grateful you tuned in, and we hope something we said today resonated with you, gave you a chuckle, some happiness, some positivity, or inspiration. Please subscribe to our website and follow Screens in Focus and tell a friend. We would love more members of our TV club. You can rate and review the podcast on Apple, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts. This will help other listeners find us. We'll be releasing a new episode next week. Next show will be on The Walking Dead, Season 11, Episode 14. You can find our website listed in our show notes. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.